Welcome to another episode of Theater Corner. I'm your host, Michael Taylor. Theater Corner is an interview series created as an ongoing effort to promote more diverse interests and involvement in the theater scene. Silence your cell phone, folks. You're about to enter Theater Corner. Hal Linden is an Emmy and Tony Award-winning actor, singer, musician, and all-around class act whose prolific career has spanned television, film, and small screens. It was his award-winning portrayal of the police precinct captain Barney Miller in the hit ABC series that made him a household name. Linden has also appeared in more than 20 Broadway and Off Broadway productions and received widespread critical acclaim for his cabaret-style variety show that he tours nationally. Although his career has spanned more than 65 years, Linden is not even close to slowing down. He recently performed in the Old Globe Theater's record-breaking revival of Picasso at the Lapin Agile, and is currently sticking around San Diego to film a lighthearted drama called The Samuel Project. Today, on Theater Corner, we're very fortunate to catch this show business legend between takes to ask him a few questions about his distinguished career and lifelong love for the arts. So Hal Linden, you're very welcome to be here on Theater Corner. Thank you so much for taking out time to visit us here and our viewers. And we're right here on the set of a movie you're starring in called The Samuel Project. The Samuel Project, it's produced by Steve Weinberger and Rebecca Reyes, and it is directed by Mark Fusco. And you're co-starring with Ryan Ochoa from Disney series Pair of Kings. And this is a light-hearted drama. Will you tell us a little bit about
light-hearted drama. It's almost a Holocaust comedy.
Holocaust comedy.
It's a very light and loving story about a young man. I play Samuel.
Okay.
And that's why I look like I do.
Okay, yeah. That's right.
Where I'm all made up for the character. So it's about a boy who has an art project, and he doesn't know what to do it. He's supposed to do a project of some historical event. And because he's spending time, he has to spend time with his grandfather. You know, it's a real pain. And all of a sudden we get a call to come here. This is one of the first scenes in the show. We're to meet an old friend who is here. She's bedridden. And the boy gets his interest piqued by he doesn't know what's going on here. He doesn't know who they are.
Right.
And he sees pictures, and so his interest starts to pique, and he decides to tell my story. That's the history he's going to tell. And it's a painful and kind of wonderful story that at the same time that he's learning the story, he's learning his grandfather.
I see.
And where in the beginning they sat and looked at each other, had nothing to say to each other, they are now co-joined in this project in telling the story. If you want to put it in one word, maybe art can be more eloquent than words sometimes.
As it is.
Because a lot of this is done with his artwork, his version of the story that he learns about the past of his grandfather.
Sounds like an amazing.
It's a very small story because it's only about the growth and coming together of two generations. But it's hopefully funny and hopefully touching.
So before film and before television, the role that you're known for, Barney Miller, which I grew up with. grew up watching. Our whole family grew up watching. Your original love was music.
I started out as a musician. I started out as a young boy studying the clarinet. I was a classically trained clarinetist, and if I had the slightest bit of discipline, I would probably be a symphonic clarinet player. That's where I was headed. I got sidetracked by hormones. Basically, I discovered that more girls went to dances than went to concerts.
I see.
So there went the classical career, and I became a dance band, saxophone player, jazz, and a professional. I was a professional musician for 13 years before I ever set foot on a stage.
Wow. And you continue to perform.
I put the horn away. The truth is, when I went into the theater, I specifically put the horn away so that I would not be, because I was very good and very in demand. I was a personality. I was the singer, I was and I was very much in demand, and once I went into the theater, I wanted to concentrate on theater, and so I put the horn away for 20 years. 20 years. And then it was only later, after I was Barney Miller, that I had the opportunity to, pull this out again and see what it sounds like. All right, and now you're touring the country. You're doing concerts called An Evening with Hal Linden. Yeah. And I had an opportunity to see a piece of that. We can actually show it now.
Now the trumpet, can you blow out? Boop bop, boop bop, boo ah. What's the guitar string? Well, here comes Lucy Brown. Well, that's my voice on the right beat. I will bet your back beat is back in
This is an engaging, energetic, amazing.
It comes from the fact that you work with different bands every night. So I never had written arrangements. Right. So we always these are called head arrangements. You make them up as you go along, really. And so this is a version of that head arrangement written out for a big band. So that it's you get the feel of what it was like when the saxophone player had no idea what he was about to play, and I had to sing him his part, and then I'd sing the trumpet player his part and the trombone player his part, so that everybody, and then it always worked out. Oh yeah, it always worked out. Now I do it; it's kind of codified. Everybody knows what they're doing.
So you're coming to.
It's always much more fun that way, doing it off the cuff.
Oh, certainly. I mean, I'd love to have been in the audience. It's really a fantastic piece. So you're coming to the set here to perform on this film, but you're coming from a Steve Martin play. You performed at the Old Globe Theater called Picasso at the Lapin Agile. Lapin Agile. Tell us about that experience.
The Picasso at the Lapin Agile is, it's like, I always refer to it as a 1903 episode of Cheers.
Oh, yes, that's what.
Because that's where it was. It was the Lapin Agile, is quite a famous bar in Paris, where indeed the intellectuals used to go. And I played Gaston, who was kind of the norm.
Yeah, right. I agree.
Who was norm. That he went every night specifically to interact with intellectuals, painters, writers, people who had things to offer him in his life that he didn't have in his regular life. Probably retired, probably worked for the government, did some numbing job all his life, and he's on a pension now, but every night he gets to go to the Lapin Agile and enjoy the intellectual. I guess if it was today, he'd be a couch potato watching PBS, Right. But that was the 1903 version of it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And Of course, when all the lines were written by Steve Martin, you know you're going to have funny lines.
Right.
and Gaston had a lot of them.
It was a laugh a minute from the beginning to the end. And so Picasso at the Lapin Agile was directed by Barry Edelstein there at the Old Globe. So I understand the rehearsal and the workup for this was a little different than some other plays that you've...
Because the play is just kind of an event. And if you remember, it gets fantastic at the end.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so there's no real basis in reality. You don't have the directorial warnings and maybe we're overdoing it too much. Keep it real.
Right.
You know, it's not a real play because, as I say, the play actually turns into fantasy at the end.
True.
So it was the difference between this rehearsal and others was that it was almost anything goes. Do whatever you think works, and everybody went to the ends of their imagination. When you let actors do that, now eventually it was codified,
right.
Simplified, and made sure that it went A to B to C to D, you know, rather than X to 2, you know. So that there was cogency to it. That was Barry's function. That's what a director does. But because of that, everybody felt like they had created it.
Yeah.
Because it was their creation. And there was an enormous ownership of that play by that cast. It brought the cast together because everybody was helping everybody else make everything work, and it was a real great decision on Barry's part to allow that freedom to be as creative as possible, and then we take the creativity and form it into a single unit. But it freed that cast into just they were asking for more rehearsals so that they could do more, you know. Asking to keep going, and the cast was as single and unified as I've ever seen a cast. And to this day, by the way, I'm still getting tweets or text messages from one to the other. They're all over the world now, but they're still at it. So it was a terrific experience.
It's beautiful when it works out that way. That was quite a diverse cast as well.
Specifically.
Yeah.
I'm sure in reality, in 1903 Paris, it would have been pretty French and pretty singular.
Right.
You know, probably you talk about to add to the freedom of the play.
True.
It didn't have boundaries, and I suspect that's what made it as successful as it did. One of the reasons.
And interesting enough, Barney Miller, that was. And it started in the middle of the 70s, was really there was the same type of diversity in casting for that play.
Danny went out of his way to do that, to make it as diverse as possible. I don't know that it was historically groundbreaking. I'm sure that happened before on other shows, but maybe not as successfully.
I see.
But yes, it was an intentional move on Danny Arnold's part.
So you're still an avid golfer. We had a chance to play together while you were here.
Avid but lousy.
No, I don't think so. I saw you out there. You're keeping them on the fairway. That's what's important.
That's the job. Yeah.
So what role does golf play in your life these days?
You know, golf is it's not a game. It's an activity.
Right.
The intention is to hopefully, I guess it's like playing the trumpet. You want to play better today than you did yesterday.
All right, there you go.
You want to get better and better at it and better at it. And better for every individual there's a different range.
Right. For me, I just want to connect with the ball. And
That's it. You just want to hear that nice, sweet sound.
There you go.
3 or 4 good shots in a round, and it's worth it. And you know, I mean, what can be bad? You play golf in a park.
There you go. And
I've always maintained that the quintessential difference between golf and tennis, not only is it that you play golf in a park and you play tennis in a cage, but I think the quintessential, there's a certain recognition of the absurdity of golf by everybody who plays it. Consequently, the quintessential difference between tennis and golf. Tell me one tennis joke.
I'm at a loss.
And how many golf jokes are there?
It's endless.
Endless. Because of the innate humor of trying to do something that is physically impossible.
To accomplish the ridiculous.
Right. So it's ridiculous to begin with. That's why it's so funny.
But you're still playing. You just
Still
turned.
working. I'm still singing.
You're still doing it all. You just turned 86 a couple of days ago. I want to say happy birthday.
To look like it now with the makeup, huh?
With the makeup.
With the makeup.
So it's beautiful to see you're doing what you're doing and still giving to all your fans at Civic. It's a great thing.
It's given to me. It's personal. It's once I discovered what it's like to be a character and live another life and create that character, that has been the source of almost all, well, not all, but so much joy in my life as a performer. I've done, I can't even begin to count how many Broadway productions I've done, and off Broadway, and touring and whatnot. And the point is, you put the same energy, the same love, the same creativity into every role you do, whether they succeed or not.
Yeah.
So you're remembered for 1 or 2 or 3 good roles, but I remember all the bombs and all the failures.
Right.
Because the same part of me went into it.
Right. There's still same level of passion.
Same passion went into it.
So what's coming up in the future for Hal Linden? What do you?
Well, the immediate. Well, I don't know if it's immediate. Hopefully, something. I'll probably do some TV in the summer. But the next big project is I'm going to do the Arthur Miller play, The Price.
Okay.
At the Arena Theater in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
I never played the Arena. That's one of the great theaters in America that I never played. It's always a joy to come down to the old Globe and be a part of that kind of history. But so I'm going to add the Arena to my.
Okay, so the fact that you're
and just so you know, I'm playing the old man. It
just happened to work out that way.
Happens to work out that way.
So the fact that you're still on the stage, I must say that is why theater still matters. This is a big reason for theater. I mean, it's a really wonderful thing to see. And I want to thank you again for taking a little time, for allowing us to take you off of the set. And we're looking forward to the Samuel Project, this film that you're in, and The Price in Washington, D.C. So Hal Linden, thank you so very much. Keep doing what you're doing. We love it. We love you. And we'll see you next time on Theater Corner.